Hi, I made this recent declaration that I was going to come out with some stories of my life in a deeper way, because I am really open and vulnerable, and I do share the stories of my life, not to get attention, but because I think they can really help people. But I have avoided going deeper, and I'm avoiding that because of fear of judgment or people's opinions and all of that. And although I know I'm not alone in those fears, I do know that it's hindering not only my life and my joy and experiencing the things that I want to, because it's me holding back being just authentic and real. But it's also, more importantly, well, equally as importantly, is it's hindering me helping people as much as I would like to help people. So I'm just going to take a dive into the deep end and share something that is incredibly personal and very serious, but also something I know a lot of people are struggling with. So I'm going to make my first series of being more out and sharing more of the depth of myself and my life by making a series on depression. So before I dive into that, I want to let you know that I'm going to be talking about clearly depression, but also suicidal ideation. So if those are topics that are not going to be something you can listen to, if it will cause a problem in your life, then turn this video off. Maybe you can watch it another time. If you're around little kids or something, it's probably a good time to pop in some headphones. If you're someone and you're like, I don't ever deal with depression, I would never think about suicide, you probably know people who do deal with depression. You probably know someone who's thought about suicide. So I would encourage you just to watch it, because this first video is going to share a lot of helpful tips for people like you who don't struggle and for people like me who do. On that note, I'm going to be posting this in a few different places. So I think I'll just quickly tell you who I am. My name is Shannon Elhart, and I'm the creator of the Forgiveness Tour, and I will soon, I'm laughing at that word because the plans have changed so much, but I'm hoping to soon, right now it's the end of July 2021, hoping to soon be on my way traveling around the country for about 4 years, speaking about forgiveness and healing emotional pain. My hope is to break the stigma around getting help with emotional pain, but also to communicate that there's so many different modalities of getting help with emotional pain. And in fact, in the second video in this series, I'm going to be talking about what helped me very recently to get through the deepest and darkest depression. So why don't we start there? I've been struggling with depression since I was a teen, and I'll share a little bit more about that in later videos. But I think for me, it started when I was 15. It really got bad when I was 18. And when I was 18 was the first time that I started thinking about ending my life. And I actually made an attempt when I was a sophomore in college, and I think it was more of a crying out for help, but unfortunately I didn't get any help. One person found out, and he didn't do anything, and bless his heart, he was a 19-year-old, distant friend. And I didn't get any help. I didn't know where to go. I didn't tell anybody. And I'm hoping that I can change some of that with this series. So depression's been a long road for me. Let me talk first to those of you who maybe don't struggle with depression. If you don't struggle with depression, I'm so happy for you. I have found it seems like there's two different kinds of people, either people who have thought of or would think about suicide, or people who would never ever consider it for whatever reasons. And I have never talked to someone who's kind of in the middle there. I think there's kind of the extremes in this situation. So if you're someone who just cannot wrap your head around why someone would ever think about ending their life, here's what I want you to know. You don't need to understand. Stop trying to understand. You're not going to. And if you're someone who that's just, you always know you're going to get through something and life will always move forward, and why would you even consider that? That's great. But there are people like me who do think about it, who have thought about it. And it's not your job to try to understand. You're not going to understand, and your understanding is not going to help. So just stop trying to understand and just know that there are people out there like me who do and have thought about ending their life. What you can do is just be compassionate and realize that although I don't understand why my friend or my loved one is that depressed that they're actually thinking of ending their life, even though I don't understand, I can be there. I can hold their hand. I can find a way to help them. And I know that it's not easy. It is a really tough position to be in. I put some people in that position just a few months ago. And it's a big ask for someone to say, can you help me? But I'm going to, hopefully the tips that I have written down on these note cards will help you to help somebody as well. Here's a question you can ask someone if they come to you and they say they're struggling, and then you can give them this video if you want to, or you can go through the things I'm about to list. But simply ask them, you can say, I want to be there for you. I want to help you. And one thing that would help me help you is tell me one thing that gives you just a touch of peace, just a little bit of peace, that comforts you in some way, that brings you just a dab of joy or a teeny bit of hope or just a little bit of peace. And it might be something as simple as watching a sunset, playing with a dog, going for a walk, painting, coloring, just moving your body in some way. It could be simple as receiving a text every morning that says, I love you, I care about you. So if you can find that one little thing, that could be the one little thing that you could do to contribute to this person moving through these dark days. So for those of you, and if you need to, when you ask that question, offer ideas, because those of us who are stuck in that kind of depth of depression can't always think clearly. So maybe use ideas that I just listed. Would it help if you went for a walk every day? Would it help if you met someone for a cup of coffee? Go see a sunset. Give them some ideas. For those of you who are like me and you struggle with depression, or you've ever considered ending your life, I think you know intellectually that you're not alone. I'm sitting here right now talking to you, and I've been there. And I was recently as January of this year, 2021. And like I said, in the next video, I'll explain what I did that had a dramatically positive impact on my life. But here's what I want you to do. I have a variety of tips, so grab some paper. The first one that I want you to do, this one hits me. So I want you to tell yourself, I'm going to get through this one day. Just today, I'm not going to hurt myself. Just today, okay? You want to think about it tomorrow? Just today, you're going to not hurt yourself. Just today, you're going to do something to take some action that will help you. Just for today. And if you want to start thinking about the end of your life tomorrow, that's fine, but just today. And then tomorrow I want you to do it again. And I want you to do it again. And then I want you to be using these ideas I'm going to give you. But just for a day, you can do a day. I know you can. So these are the things that I would like you to do. Get help. Call the helpline, a suicide helpline, so you have someone to talk to. Make an appointment if you don't have a therapist or a professional to work with. Make an appointment and get in to talk to somebody. If you need to, right now, drive to the hospital. If you need help, if you are at the point right now where you're thinking, I can't go on any further, even though I'm hearing Shannon talk, then go to a hospital and get that help. If you're able to, get on meds. I know some people resist medication, but you can be on antidepressants, and you can set a date if you're a little resistant to them where you'll reevaluate and wean off them. Because what's important when you get on antidepressants is that you're doing the work while you're on them. So while it's calming down your nervous system and your brain, you still need to be doing the work to help you with the problems that are going on in your life that are causing you to think and feel so depressed. And tell somebody. Find somebody who you can talk to. And this is obviously someone you can trust, but it also needs to be someone who's very grounded, who can meet you where you're at and not fall apart, because you need someone who's going to step up and be your strong mountain to lean on. And it is a really big ask. And I asked that of a couple people this winter. And it's a huge ask. But I know you'll find the right person to ask, and they can help you with these things that I'm going to continue listing. Now, for you to say to that person, I just can't take it anymore, is a little too vague. What you want to start doing is trying to get into some deeper conversations and tell them, this is what's going through my mind. This is what's hurting so much and making me feel hopeless, like it's never going to get better. And try to get those words out, because that's actually another one of my tips, is you've got to get it out. So the third thing is speak with someone about the question I just gave previously, is just, what is something that just brings me a drop of joy, just a little bit. For me, it was winter, and I love walking, so it was me, and I love nature, so it was me getting out in nature. I was walking through snow up to my kneecaps every day with my dog, and I like taking photographs. And so find those little things. Is it meeting a friend for a cup of coffee? Is it watching a sunset? Is it reading a book? Is it watching something funny like Seinfeld or some old sitcoms like that? Is it taking a bubble bath? What is something, just something little that just gives you a drop of peace? And then make a plan to make sure that you're bringing that into your daily life, okay? So even if it was, you like to go for a walk, then how do you plan that into every day? Another thing is making sure you're not alone. Social isolation is something that I do when I get down, and it can be more dangerous. So make plans with people that you can spend some time with people. So even if it's getting outside and walking, maybe find 7 friends, and just every morning it's a new person. So every Monday you're meeting one friend and you're going for a 15-minute walk even, or maybe Tuesday it's a different person, but make sure that you're connecting with others. It could be a support group or a friendship group, or just even one person who you can really be real with. Try something new. So if you're like really into like heavy metal, try listening to classical music. If you've always been kind of interested in photography, you don't need to go take a big class, but just say, you know what, every day I'm going to go out and take one beautiful picture. So you go out driving and stopping at different places, and you just take one picture that makes you feel like that's a gorgeous picture. And it will just lift you a little bit. So try something new. Go grab some coloring books and try coloring. If you don't like it, throw them in the trash or give them to Goodwill. But just try something new. What that does is it gets your brain working in a different way. And that's something that you need right now. Hi, I wanted to quick interrupt this video just to make sure you know this is the first of 9 videos in a series on depression that I'm making. I'm not done making it all, so if you have a question, please leave something in the comments. And of course, if this content is helpful to you or for someone who you care about, please be sure to hit subscribe and that cute little bell so you're notified when the other videos are available. Thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. No matter what, if you're religious or spiritual or atheist or whatever, I'm not here to tell you how to believe or what to do, but just open up to something greater, something bigger. Even if you're like, I don't know who or what I'm talking to, but I need help. And so open yourself up, whether you call it prayer or dialogue or chatting or, whatever, meditating, being quiet in your mind, if that might not feel good right now, so only if that feels good, but just open up in some way to something greater and just ask for that help, because I really strongly believe you'll receive. Remember these things about your emotions. All of them are okay. You don't need to judge your emotions. No one should judge your emotions. We should never do that for one another. You are human beings, so you are meant to experience all these different emotions. So no matter what you're experiencing, it's okay. I always say there's the do no harm rule, but it's okay to feel anything. But also know that your emotions are fluid. You are constantly feeling something, but they are constantly changing. You might have started this video, about 15 minutes ago, feeling one way, and you're feeling very differently now. Our emotions are always ebbing and flowing. So know that about yourself, that whatever you're feeling is going to change. And it might be that you need to spark some change. You need to do something to start getting that change going. And the third thing about your emotions is know that the thing that precedes your emotions are your thoughts. So if you can change what you're thinking about, or how you're thinking about something, then your emotions will change. So for example, if you're like, I'm out of money and I'm never going to have enough money, I can't pay my mortgage, I lost my job, maybe you could start thinking, how can I find a new job? What kind of job would I like to do? It just feels a little bit better than I'm completely in trouble here. So change what or how you're thinking. The next one is think about what you can accomplish in life. And that might be hard. Maybe right now you're feeling hopeless and you will never accomplish something. But remember that there are people who thought they would never find a true love relationship, and they do later in life. There are people who have reached rock bottom with their finances, and all of a sudden they're doing really well financially. There are people who have terrible health situations and they end up coming through to the other end and being healthy. Like, remember those stories, and remember that you can accomplish anything. You can work through any kind of a problem. It just right now feels like you can't. It might feel hopeless. This next one might be hard, but it's really, really important to stay away from drugs and alcohol. They are generally depressants, and if you think having a few drinks at night is going to help or throughout the day, it's not. It's just not. So do your best to stay away from drugs and alcohol. Make your house safe. One of the biggest problems with people feeling suicidal is if there is a gun in the house. It's too easy to grab it and make a split-second decision, and that's not the kind of decision you need to be making right now. You need to be more thoughtful, and it's so hard to be so when you're that depressed. So even if you need to call someone to come over and say, I need to make my house safer, get rid of anything that could end your life like that. Get rid of a gun. If you need to get rid of all the sharp, big knives, whatever you need to do, get rid of anything that could be a way that you harm yourself when you fall into that drastic thinking that like nothing's ever going to get better, and you make a split second decision. Remember that people who get through really terrible times, because there are, I've heard stories of people and I'm like, I cannot imagine they got through that. And it reminded me that, okay, I can get through what I was dealing with, because I've heard of people going through much worse situations and they got to the other side. And it just made me realize, I know I can do this. If you have a specific plan for how you would end your life, that is a really big red flag. That means you're getting a little too close to that. So tell somebody about that plan. Tell that trusted person, tell your therapist, go to the hospital and tell them, but let someone know that this is my plan. And even if you're like, I know I'm not going to follow through on it, I know that I'm in a place where I'm not going to follow through, letting someone know what that plan is helpful so that they're aware. You can also make a plan for what you're going to do if you reach that really low point. So this could be your safety plan. Who will you call to let them know I'm reaching the point where I need help? What are you going to do? Maybe it's, just looking at your plan and listing the things about the people who you know love you and who will be devastated if you hurt yourself. Maybe it's thinking about a dream that you have, even though right now it feels like there's no life in it. Maybe it's getting out and moving your body, but have a plan that if you reach that point where it's that low, that you're taking some specific action. It could even be, and this isn't a good thing to do when you're feeling that down, but make a list of why your life is valuable. Now, it wasn't too long ago that I felt like my life wasn't valuable. That wouldn't have been the time for me to make that list. But if you're someone who struggles with suicidal ideation at times, make the list while you're feeling good. Call some friends to help you make that list. Tell them, ask them, what makes my life valuable? What makes me worth being here on earth, living a life? And add to that list so that when you hit that low point, you can pull that list out and be reminded. Few more. If you can, and this is a big if, you might not be in a mental place to do this, but if you can have someone who's counting on you, and it could be your dog that's counting on you to feed it and walk it and play with it and take care of it. Or you could go more extreme. Maybe you have an elderly neighbor and you could say, I'm going to bring you a meal every Wednesday and Saturday night. But if you're able to have someone who's counting on you, someone who's relying on you, that helps to help you feel needed, and that someone, that is relying on you. Schedule daily activities. It can be as simple as every day I get up and I go for a walk. Every day I am going to meet someone for a cup of coffee. You especially want to avoid the social isolation. So make sure that you're engaging with others, and you can make that plan, make it simple. Could be a different person every day, but that you're connecting with someone every day in a meaningful way. Avoid the things that set you off. I have a terrible time watching the news. I really need to avoid that. It just gets me really down. If you're someone who scrolls through social media and every time you do, you feel depressed about your life, then stop scrolling through social media. Protect yourself. Don't watch movies or listen to music or things that are upsetting to you. Find the things that are uplifting. And even if you can't find those, avoid the ones that bring you down. I'm almost done with my list. Get how you're feeling out. Whether you're speaking it out loud to yourself, to someone else, it's sometimes it's just helpful just to declare, I feel hopeless. That's the word I'm feeling. Just instead of just having this barrage of feelings that make you feel like you can't do it, name it. Get deeper into, this is what's going on. This is what's scaring me. This is what I feel like I can't get through, because that is going to help you better understand you. And when then you can communicate to someone, to a professional who's helping you, it's going to be much more helpful than just saying, I can't do my life. So get it out. And if that means you're talking to someone you trust, a friend, or a professional, or if you're just writing it and journal it and just write and brain dump, and you can do that every day, but so that you start understanding what's going on for you. And I'm going to end this video just by giving you the 1-800 number for here in the States. If you're at that point, you really need some help, this is the number you can call. It's 1-800-273-8255. Those last 4 digits spell out TALK, T-A-L-K. So it's 1-800-273-8255. And just know that you're not alone. I've been there more times than I could even tell you, that I have thought, maybe I can't go on. Maybe I would be better off if I wasn't living this life. I've been there, and I was there quite recently. Like I said, it's July 2021 while I'm making this video. And just in January, early February, I thank God that I had this moment of clarity when I realized how close I was getting to ending my life. And I did the things that I just listed to you, all of them in one way or another. And I found what was the right path forward for me. And I took that path. And even though it's a very unorthodox path, it was incredibly helpful for me. It was probably the smartest thing I've ever done. It might not be the right path for you, but you need to find your path. And I'll tell you what I did in the next video. But please, just one more day. You can do this one more day. One more day of not thinking about it, and instead taking action to get through to the other side. You are worth it. I promise you, you are worth it.